Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Have been enjoying your day so far, and several interesting topics to go through today. Want to talk about some new barrel gentlemen's agreements that seem to have come into effect. Lots of GAs coming into effect, of course, these last couple of weeks that we've talked about. The task force barrel gone. Looks like the VDV reinforced barrel may also be out the door. Potentially some other things on the horizon as well. Also wanted to mention this Warzone cheating situation that was brought up last night, and with the whole cheating discussion regarding the CDL and the Warzone side right now, could be some of our former professional players, of course, now playing Warzone on a professional level that are being affected by something like this. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all then, this from Rated. Warzone needs an anti-cheat ASAP. Kids have literally asked their parents for hacks for Christmas. Verdansk is infested right now. But this came out yesterday from Modern Warzone. Competitive Warzone players have been using routers, so I imagine like these are the Net Doomer routers that you guys might have heard about, that allow you to force your reach into wherever in the world you want to get bot lobbies. This has been going on since Warzone Tourneys gains popularity. I've heard potentially some big names are using this, and well, between hackers, Cronus Max, this, well, competitive Warzone is certainly in a bad spot. So the idea is that you can use like NetDuma routers to set your world location to something like Spain, I don't know, and then you effectively get lobbies where skill-based matchmaking isn't turned on to the same degree, or it's not tuned to your actual skill level, so you effectively get lobbies that aren't tuned to the North American, European-based skill-based matchmaking, and therefore you can play against bots. And in some of these tourneys where a lot of the time it's like kill races and stuff like that, that's how these guys are getting these, well, magical gameplays in theory. That is supposedly what's going on. As Rated says, 2v2 tourneys are the only way. Stick me in the same lobby, it's only fair format, and still it is not completely fair. So yeah, competitive Warzone is, well, not something of course we talk about too much on this channel, but some of the former pro players, Tommy, Rated, a lot of the guys actually are playing it at a pretty high level right now, and of course there's a lot of money involved. So when something like this is going on, I definitely thought it was worthy of a mention, and if things get increasingly higher profile here, we might have to talk about it a little bit more. But as Tommy's saying, that's not what's being mentioned here. It's the ability to pick and choose which servers you can block. And well, I don't think you quite understand what's going on. It's not about latency, it's about choosing which servers you get to go on. And as Simp says in reply to Clayster, so you're telling me people are basically cheating their way out of SBMM lobbies and playing little 2-year-old Johnny and the boys? No way this is going on. Like, completely no surprise people are actually doing this right now. But I wanted to talk about gentlemen's agreements as well. 1911 Magnum added to the main list a few days ago. Now, wanted to run through the main list again for you guys because it's very, well, it's very difficult to remember in my head as well. So let's just run through things, starting off with some of the weapons. The AUG, the M16, the DMR, the Type 63, they're all gone. The 1911, the Magnum, it seems also gone right now. Although I've still seen people using the 1911 a fair bit, so still some question marks around that as far as I'm concerned. Attachment to the thermal, the task force barrel was only the one gone at the time. Now it potentially seems some more barrels are being added to the list. You know how it goes. Body attachments, all of them are gone. KGB Eliminator, Soccer Eliminator, this type of stuff. All the perks and wild cards you can see on screen. Then you've got the items, so the lethal, the Molotov, this type of stuff, and well, no smokes and harpoon and control, 2 smokes and search and destroy, this type of stuff we talked about at the time. But the interesting part of it from my perspective is when we get to this point, we say, okay, cartel's gone, which we talked about a while ago, but North American amateurs have had their own GAs, and then the European amateurs are having their own GAs. And this is kind of where this comes from. We've seen it a couple of times now that the North American and the European amateurs having to play in these, well, their tournaments are effectively earlier than the professional tournaments, so they want to get their rules set in stone ahead of time and to not necessarily just copy the pro GAs if there's something that they think and they can vote on to be particularly overpowered, as the European amateurs did with the AK-47. I think like all 12 top teams in Europe voted that the AK-47 should go from competitive, so that is gone. And well, of course their tournaments are slightly earlier than the pro one, so as you can see right here, the 9th and then the 16th of January are the next Challenger Cups. The pro tournaments are going to be, well, somewhat significantly after that. We're not really sure. Maybe a week after is maybe a pre-season event or something like that. We're going to talk about the schedule in the video later today. But they decided to get rid of the AK-47 ahead of when the pros, and a lot of the pros are looking at the AK-47, as Simp said at the time, saying, look, it's not really that strong. Don't know what you guys are worried about. And then Looty and some of the European amateur guys are like, okay, how can you not think this gun is so good? On paper is actually very, very strong indeed. So, well, we also get this from Classic. The KSP is the best gun already done. So the KSP, that SMG that wasn't really included on those notes we just looked at, supposedly that is also gone. But this comes out yesterday from, well, people talking around what Gunsy has to say. So no shot, you'll GA the VDV. So it seems like the VDV reinforced barrel is also going to be gone from competitive play. Woke up and saw it in the scrim chat. It was about damn time. Thought effective damage range barrels weren't getting touched. The idea was the task force barrel was getting GA'd because it actually increased your damage, and that meant that you can have like a 3-shot headshot kill with it. And the idea was that then when the Krig got its headshot multiplier nerfed, so it can no longer 1-shot headshot to then then get a 4-shot kill, then, you know, the idea was that you would also get rid of the task force barrel on the 74U so that it didn't also have that effectively high caliber attachment as Clayster was arguing. But apparently the VDV reinforced is also getting the same treatment. The Liberator's super slow aiming in, the extended is just all around what should be used, and the VDV just kills fast. Feel like subs should be killing fast regardless of what barrel they have on there. Subs will be fine. Reinforced was a bailout. Most of the top amps were using extended on the sub to begin with. We'll look at what Simp uses in just a second here. The problem was actually using it on the AK-47. This is pretty interesting to me that the AK-47, the VDV reinforced, actually does slightly different things as to what it does on the 74U. Always confuses me that there's both AKs in the game, whatever. We'll get past it. But this probably doesn't affect the European amateurs too much, given they've already GA'd the AK-47. But in the professional side, is this barrel also going to be gone from what you can use on your AK-47 if you are using it in these professional tournaments? Yeah, just another complication to add into the mix. And as Simp says, Christmas present to you all, my updated 74U class. And as Dark says, class is fire, but why not use the reinforced heavy barrel? Which one is that? And as he says right here, plus 18% effective damage range, plus 80% bullet velocity, minus 4% sprinting move speed, aim walking movement speed decreased as well. But of course, these two things, the damage range and the bullet velocity, are very important factors for, well, pretty much any weapon in the entire game. And as he says in reply, honestly, I don't know. I heard that this barrel somehow makes the headshot damage higher, just like Task Force, so it's BS. I was using this barrel until I heard that. Now I am on the extended. So it seems like the pros have decided that it actually makes the headshot damage higher. Of course, I haven't seen any testing on this, whether that actually is the case or it is not. Maybe they just imagine it is because of kind of what it says here. Maybe that actually is the case. Who really knows? But apparently it's a similar thing to Task Force. Therefore it's BS. Therefore it's been GA'd out of the game. And this is what Simp is using on his AK-74U. I thought I'd share this with you guys. So he's using the muzzle brake on the muzzle. A lot of people are using the Spetsnaz compensator, but I never really understood that because the horizontal recoil is always the difficult thing to control. And the vertical recoil you can just pull down. So I'm not even sure why people really use the Spetsnaz compensator. Maybe you guys can inform me in the comment section below. But the Spetsnaz compensator reduced your control of your horizontal recoil, increased your control of your vertical recoil by 12%, reduced the horizontal recoil control by 8%. Therefore, it still had a beneficial effect on your weapon overall, but the horizontal recoil actually making it have more horizontal recoil is not something that I would be particularly keen to, well, to go for, right? So the muzzle brake is what Simp is using now. Seems like what most people are using, and this just increases your vertical recoil control by 4%. It's not really a big deal. On the barrel load, he uses the extended. That increases your bullet velocity by 40%, and well, not the VDV reinforced, as we did just look at, and the task force has been gone for a while now. On the underbarrel, you've got the Spetsnaz speed grip, allows you to, well, sprint faster, which is pretty useful. Grew elastic wrap on handle, allowing you to drop shots, some other benefits as well. And then the KGB stock as well, basically the final stock that seems to be what pretty much people use on every single weapon in the entire game. So look at some detail then to the extended barrel, as we just said, plus 40% bullet velocity. The Liberator as well, I've seen a lot of people using this one as well. So you've got the bullet velocity increased by significantly more, but your aim walking speed does go down by quite a lot. So personally, I kind of prefer the extended, but the VDV reinforced obviously does have its place. The task force got GA'd because it had, well, extra damage and bullet velocity as well. It made your recoil very difficult to control, but obviously if you're a pro player, you can do that relatively well anyway. And well, this has now gone from competitive play for a while, but it seems like the VDV reinforced is now joining it on the banned bench effectively. So yeah, this is what it does on the 74U. 20% increased effective damage, 80% bullet velocity, as you can see right here. But well, clearly Simp & Co not using that because of, well, supposedly it's overpowered or whatever, similar to the task force. Found this from a video as well from this guy, Raid Away. The VDV reinforce actually does slightly different things on the AK-47. 100% increase in effective damage range, 40% in bullet velocity. So you can argue this is a more significant upgrade on the AK-47 as it is on the 74U, with similar downsides as well. So that may be one of the reasons why this has gone, not necessarily because it's been used on the 74U to great effect, but more like it's been used on the AK-47. So my theory is that because we seem to be GAing attachments to keep weapons viable, we may get to a point where some of these weapons just get banned out of the game entirely, kind of what the European amateur does. And it's possible that the pros and the North American amateurs might follow their lead on that, and well, this just might be one step in that same direction. We talked about some potential solutions to these GA problems a few days ago, but well, doesn't seem like anything is on the horizon, but certainly something, if I was the CDL, I'd be thinking about pretty closely. And as well, EasyMax says right here, the AK-47 having been GA'd from the European amateur play is still very strong, as you can see, from 11 meters to 37 meters, which is, I imagine, the vast majority of engagements. It is the best gun in the entire game in terms of, well, pure time to kill. So the AK-47 does dominate these ranges in theory, but a lot of other weapons do dominate other ranges as well, as you can see right here. But most of the time, I think most of your gunfights will be in this 11 to 37 meter vicinity. and that's where the AK-47 dominates. The European amateurs have already got rid of it from the game. Is it only a matter of time until the pros realise how good it is? You can argue either way on this one. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.